Awesome. So today I've only pretty much got one on watch. So it's GBP Aussie, and then we're looking at the DXY as well. So um, obviously there's no correlation in any major way between USD dollar basket. Oh, sorry, the US dollar currency index and GBP Aussie, but I'm just monitoring it to see how this develops. I am kind of looking at this to potentially just keep going a little bit further. However, this is looking like it can probably turn back down and retest this, probably break through and come here, which could be in line with a few other of the US dollar related forecasts. So kind of just keeping that in mind. Not really much else to really report with this. I think I'd stay to the 4 hour time frame and kind of not get swept up with this. Probably just look at, something like this potentially forming, where perhaps maybe this could even become a little bit larger. This forms as the middle section, and then yeah, we might even have something like that. Might even come into a little bit more, but yeah, so something like this, and then we push up. So at the moment, it's a bit premature, not really much to kind of go by, but this is kind of what I'd be looking for on the DXY, and then it kind of just coming up here somewhere, or even overriding and sells off. Going on to GP Aussie, so one of the main reasons why I have this on watch is because I also have a position on it as well. So we, on the higher time frame, have this weekly inflection point, right? We'll call it the override for just kind of maybe a short-term sell. So I'm looking at this potentially come lower and then come back up. On the daily, I can see that we tapped into it previously and sold off, but we sold off correctively. And we didn't approach it in any other way other than an impulse, but this time we approached it with a correction with a mini double top within the 3 touch higher time frame on the daily, which is a little bit more powerful. We've started moving off a little bit more corrective, which isn't ideal. However, we can instantly move impulsively, create a larger correction, and then carry on with the impulse is what I'm really looking for. Going to the 4 hour, it does look like it could be in a state of correction for a continuation at the high, which personally I wouldn't really cross off the board because it's very much possible with the higher time frame. However, with this sort of structure in place, I think going short is definitely of interest. Any correction down here would also be quite high probability for the short. And then if we can break this with an impulse, ideally I'm looking for the pole, a flag, and then equal to breaking, but we'll see. And then going to the 1 hour, we can kind of see that if we kind of get a little bit more granular, probably go on to the line chart, we can see that we had a head and shoulders as well. Not not the most obvious one, of course, but as we can see here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, sell off. It is there. We did kind of have this sort of mini sort of double top to the high as well, which is not so clear, but it's in there as well. And then we kind of pushed down, created this flag. Not the cleanest as well, very hard to read through, but the phase line entry was there as well. Probably not the best to take as well, but how I saw this is if this is the right shoulder and we've committed and now we've just corrected over high spread hours evening, and then we're accumulating some capital, taking out some stops, push back down, we're moving into the impulsive phase as soon as we get that. So then I saw this as 15-minute flag territory, where if we take this for its own individual price, and it was more so kind of looking at it like this and just disregarding that wick, I basically saw it like this, and I was like, okay, well, originally we had this sort of pennant where it was kind of giving us that feel where could we just sell off from here, which would have been great. It did correct over the evening, which is completely fine during Asian session, and then we kind of had something like this, and I was not really convinced at this point that if price is correcting like this, we're going to continue. So essentially I saw this as one separate piece of price here, and then not disregarding this completely, but looking at it like that, and then essentially saying, okay, well, this could just be a scoop, a push, and then a flag, and then we go, and then this could be a nice impulsive phase. So because I was already up significant amount of percentage. I was quite happy to just get involved on this, which I was quite confident with this because yesterday I was trying to get involved here, but then as we started correcting even further, and it pushed down quite aggressively and pulled back in, kind of took a break even and left it. Reevaluated in the morning. There was a nice little sort of, well, no, there wasn't really anything there, but this was quite good. At the same time, I did take this trade and I did take a trade on gold and I got taken out of gold. So, I could have easily been taken out of this one as well. So, luckily, price did commit, pulled back in, stop was still above, and then pushed down. And now we've broken this low. I'm more inclined to see if that we create continuation. So if we can create a flag here and then just continue, that would be great. Or if we just continue creating a larger impulse towards a larger flag, then I'll look for a sell. And that's basically it, really. Not really much else. I think definitely seeing an impulse, a larger flag here, and then impulse here to be probably equal to this would be quite nice. Not really fast. There'll be a larger flag over here probably as well. So it's going to take its time to get down here, but I think by tomorrow, we might see some really nice volatility. It looks like we have got some sort of news tomorrow of GDP month on month. I don't think that'll be so much of a major impactful news, but I think on the 13th we've got quite a bit of news as well. So we've got some Aussie related news to do with Westpac consumer confidence change, an index, and then we have a climate count change, which once again, it's not something, but the year-on-year inflation could present us with some volatility. But by the time we get to the 14th, it's possible that we could even be down here somewhere. So definitely going to keep my eyes on this one. Managing this very nicely, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, I'm running around about, so that's just under 5% at the moment. So it's a decent position. Just going to have to wait and evaluate. Obviously, this can start pulling up. I've left it on break even sort of territory. I've got a little bit of profit locked in here. And then I've got break even as well over here. So, so basically split my position into two. And that's it really. So we'll see how that goes. And that's basically it. Let's show you the gold position. So the gold position was here. It's a bit of an unfortunate one. So what happened was we basically had this sort of forecast on the table where impulse down, but then we started pushing back up. We impulsed back down and created this nice flag. And I've seen this many times where we have the pole, do a nice correction, and then we get this sort of impulse. And this was kind of leading to this bottom. So I thought this is quite nice. But then yesterday when I saw gold, I had the buy on here. So I came out of my position over here. And then when price started to decline on the hourly, I was kind of like, this is very possible. We could potentially see this drop off. So I kind of went down to AFT sort of side of things. And I think that's where I got caught into the time frame. And then I saw this as two tops, two bottoms, and then price was basically there. And I got pretty much tagged into this. So I think when you look at it like this, it's not so bad because you've kind of got two tops, two bottoms. But then again, you've got the third touch up here, which really I should have been a little bit more patient for. But as we kind of corrected and got there, I was like, oh, maybe I'm lucky. And then bang, just got tagged out. So it is what it is. And then I think further down the line, actually, this is the one that I'm kind of referring to today. So despite, even though that trade there banked me around about 6%, or 5-6%, I can't remember now. That was only a small percentage loss there. And I don't think it was a 4% regardless, but there was this trade as well. So essentially I was looking at it just like this, and I thought, okay, cool. There's a possibility this can go. This should have been a reduced risk entry as well. And then as I saw it on the 15-minute, I thought, okay, there's more than enough candles here. There's two ways this can happen. This can either come in for the 1, 2, 3, or we can sell off. And essentially, I took the trade here. So it was a premature entry to the trade in here. I think I called it around about 15. just about there, yeah. And then, yeah, I was looking at that, and I thought that was a really good trade in hindsight, because if I replay that and you look at it like this, you know, for a 15-minute, two tops, two bottoms, premature though for the entry, could have waited for that. But even so, I would have been tagged out now that I look at it. And yeah, so going forward, kind of moved in a little bit. I was running around about 1% anyway, and then boom, pulled straight back up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is where I would have wanted to enter the market. So that's when I realized I should have been more patient. But then I kind of got a little bit more granular with this, and then I was kind of just making things up, and I was like, okay, this could be the spot now. So this is probably where the trade's going to go. So hopefully, if I see this, and we've got this double top here, it all kind of came to somewhat of lining together. So I was a bit like, all right, I'm still protected as I'm up here. And then as the next candle came in, we sold, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna panic. And I was considering taking out. Then I was like, and then boom, just spiked up and took me out. So it was a little bit unfortunate, but I think looking at the DXY, it kind of made sense why this is happening. And I think with my thought process yesterday, it made sense. But who knows? We could still probably have a sell. It's just one that I just think I'll stay out of now. Not really kind of fussed. I think with GA on the table, it's a great position. So even as we speak, we could be looking at a potential entry forming for a short. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I won't entertain that sort of price action. I think if there was a stronger impulse, we were down here and creating the flag, then it would make more sense to me. But at the moment, we're kind of just in that continuation to the upside in line with the DXY, which could potentially just short with that. So if that shorts, then GA could go, gold could go long. GA is looking nice. I think GA has definitely got the potential. So that's one of the reasons I just decided, let me just put all my focus on this one pair today, manage it really well. Let my talents shine in terms of this position, and then once this position is closed, on to the next. But for now, just full focus on this one pair, managing this, making sure I'm going to stay in the market, and I can potentially ride this through. With this larger head and shoulders, I wouldn't be surprised if we did create something like this, same depth, come back up here, and then push down. So definitely be on my management game as we reach this low. I think that's very important because these are also significant points. I think more so this one is more for significant point for me on GA. I think if price comes down, we could actually bounce off this and create something a little bit larger and go up. So we might come down, push up, and then come in and finally touch this, which would look a little bit like this. So we'd push down, come up, and then go. Obviously, we don't have to come up to there, but we could create something like this, which could act as continuation to the downside, yeah. But I think in the grand scheme of things, this could potentially go bullish, and if this becomes more corrective, it's less likely it's going to sell off. So, but by all means, this can keep going. There's nothing to say that it can't, even though we've had this on the higher time frames. We could just fill this. There's so many possibilities that could happen right now. I think it's just a great value area to be looking at. So for that pure reason, I got involved in GA, but GA is good. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So see you tomorrow.